Shyla Nelson of the Superdelegate Challenge Initiative. Is that right, Shyla?
That's correct, Eric.
Okay, please identify for us what the problem is and also what the remedy would be.
You bet. So over the course of this primary season, we have come to know more about the superdelegate class in the Democratic Party. The superdelegates were established in 1984 as an internal process within the party to provide a kind of electoral leadership among elected officials in the party and long-term party leaders. However, over the course of this primary season, as Bernie Sanders has picked up a substantial proportion of the popular vote in particular states, and the superdelegates have remained aligned to Hillary Clinton, the Superdelegate Challenge Initiative came out of a concern nationally about how to constructively and peacefully address that issue and provide a remedy for the voters in various states who feel disenfranchised by the overreach of the superdelegate vote. There are some superdelegates who feel obligated, who have made pledges, made promises to Hillary Clinton. We certainly are respectful of their decision to do so. Question that within the context of whether the popular vote in their state is reflective of that same alignment. That said, this is a way for those superdelegates to continue to have a vote for Clinton if they so choose, but that vote is weighted differently. It's dropped to perhaps a half or a quarter vote in whatever way assures a proportional representation of the popular vote in their state. So in that sense, it's a win-win.
So are you going to the bylaws of the Democratic National Committee or to the United States Constitution or state constitutions or all of the above?
It's actually primarily a credentials challenge that is rooted in the charter and bylaws of the Democratic National Committee. So we're working within the system itself that originated the superdelegates to provide a way to redistribute the weight of the superdelegate votes to assure that there is proportional representation between the superdelegate vote and the popular vote in a given state.
Right. I mean, I think we should do away with the superdelegates altogether. I think that critics of what you're attempting to do would say 8 years ago would have been a better time, not in the middle of a process that's already underway and, in fact, coming to a close.
Right. Well, a couple of responses to that. First, I would say better late than never. In addressing this, I think that Bernie's campaign has awakened the body politic in unprecedented ways. Certainly in my lifetime, I've never seen so many people actively and enthusiastically engaged in the civic process, and I think it's been an educational process for many people who have seen politics as this kind of ethereal, mysterious, and frankly somewhat unsavory arena to be involved in. And I think that Bernie has really blazed a trail to bring more people into the process. And in that, we're starting to see the ways in which our democracy may not be as well reflected by the process of choosing our leaders. And this is one example of that. I will say that as a Vermonter and one who's actually known Bernie and the family from the beginning. I was one of the supporters of the Vermont resolution at our state convention to ultimately abolish the superdelegate class. We're one of now, I believe, 5 states that have done so. I think that ultimately we're seeing a seismic shift in the Democratic Party, a return to a broader, more lowercase d democratic approach to the selection of our leadership, and I think that's ultimately a very healthy trend.
Right. Well, I mean, as an independent, I look at the two parties running their processes. I thought both had deep flaws. Who are going to be the ones who make the decision on whether or not your remedy is implemented?
The decision ultimately rests in the hands of the National Credentials Committee and the state party leaders from the various states. They will work together to identify a path toward resolution.